Alright, I'm Tommy.
I'm Joel.
I'm Nick.
And we are Three Idiots in a Bible Podcast. It's been a while since our last episode. Busy schedules.
Car accidents.
Car accident, yeah. A lot of stuff happening in life. So, sorry we couldn't get this out sooner.
I'm not. You guys suck.
Yeah, he just hates everybody.
So we
Yeah.
lost, our one listener.
We have more than one, you'd be surprised.
We have a whole 3.
Yeah.
We have 39, actually. 39
Aren't
people
like
have downloaded the
20 of
pod.
those you?
No, only one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can show you the stats after this. We have
Okay.
39 downloads on the pod.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
You should stop calling it pod though, it sounds weird.
pod. So yeah, the theme for this week is, do we want to do Risen Thorn?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay,
Nick?
do you want to introduce it or do you want me to?
I can introduce it.
Okay.
So, Rose and Thorn is basically how good your week was on a scale of 3 roses to 3 thorns, or Hevel, which is in the middle.
Yeah.
Kind of just whatever. 3 roses is one of your family members won the lottery and gave you $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
3 thorns is your whole family got struck by lightning. Every single one of them by individual bolts.
Yeah.
And everything else is just kind of in between. You can do half roses, half thorns. Like two thorns would be like, oh, this freaking sucked this week, but it wasn't like too bad. I just, got a car accident or something.
Yeah. Imagine.
Who would ever do that?
Yeah, it couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So-
you don't even have your permit, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've gone 3 years without getting in a single accident. So
I've got 15.
You haven't driven.
I have in parking lots.
Get better.
But yeah, Tommy, what's your rose thorn for the week?
Probably 2 roses.
2 roses?
Yeah, just between work and school and hanging out with friends and stuff. It's been pretty fun.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, a good week.
What was the highlight of the week?
Probably yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
And just Saturday, just the day of Saturday was highlight.
Yeah, because I had a good time at work, even though it was kind of stressful, and then went hung out with friends. So
Yeah, hanging out with friends at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. For me, I would probably say a thorn, because if you haven't known, I was sick for like 3 weeks starting in spring break, and I'm still recovering from that, and I'm still not back yet. And I do track, and so it wiped out all of my stamina for that, and so it's taken a lot of work to try to build that back up, and I'm still barely even starting to build it back up. So it's really humiliating at some points when I can run and then I just die when everybody else is going perfect strong, and then I just die and I just have to sit out the rest, and it's not very fun. The one thing that you really enjoy running kind of gets taken a little bit, but hopefully beginning of summer I should be back to normal. And I guess I don't really know if I have a highlight of the week. The week was just like, not great.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, Nick?
I would say probably Rose. I started being a youth leader this past Wednesday. I have to deal with these guys now more often, but, it's a lot of fun hanging out with people, listening. It can be. But other than that, my week has just been work and school, which isn't a lot of fun, but it is what it is, and I've just been existing other than that. but
Yeah.
that part was good, so we brought it up to a roast.
Would the highlight be the youth
Yeah.
stuff on Wednesday?
Yep.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Wednesday night church here at Northgate. And so, yeah, he was in our youth group. He had to take the year off because he graduated, and then now he's back as a leader. And yeah, so
Yeah.
you guys want to just get in straight on the topic?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So, Tommy, you want to introduce the topic since it was your idea?
Sure. Okay. So I kind of wanted to talk about what it means to be Christian versus a Jesus follower. So I feel like there is a difference, even though a lot of people says there isn't. Because
I agree.
people say Christ, Ian,
Yeah.
but there is a difference because people claim to be Christians all the time. I
Yeah.
have classmates who claim to be Christians, but they don't, like we've talked about it in youth group.
Yeah,
Like, with
yeah.
the book,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I just don't see a lot of Christians doing that,
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you're right about
There's-
that big difference between the two.
yeah.
People
There's
are-
not that Jesus-like attitude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they just act like normal people,
Yeah.
but say they're Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to church every once in a while on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they go
and, like,
consistently.
Not going to church isn't necessarily a terrible thing.
No.
I know a couple people who don't go to church, and they're like real Christ followers.
Yeah.
They read their Bible, they do all this stuff. Well, they're not perfect, obviously, but they try their best, and they don't go to church, but they still give glory to God a lot. Every time I see them, something good will happen or something. We'll be talking, and they'll just be like, "Yeah, it was part of God's plan." And it's just cool to see that mentality, even though you don't go to church and you don't have these things. But yeah, did you have a thing?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Let me pull it up. There we go. Okay. So, I feel like the difference is kind of, are you following a religion or a person?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of in the name, Jesus follower and Christian. Like, Christianity is religion.
Yeah.
If you're following someone, you're following, a person.
Yeah. Jesus.
So, yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of historical and cultural context behind the term Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has left stains on the word Christian.
Yeah. There's
I mean,
those people that just call themselves Christians and don't actually follow it.
that and like the historical things like the Crusades.
Yeah. There's some
Um,
old stage.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, stainage.
Spanish Inquisition.
Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of like what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
about the stains, because it's like the whole point of what we're doing today, talking about this, is like just the people who call themselves Christians may not act how the Bible
Mm-hmm.
tells us to act, and then other people who aren't Christians necessarily, or maybe want to get into it but not sure,
Yeah.
they'll see those people not doing these things and acting like a tool, and they can be like, oh, these Christians, they suck. Why would you become a Christian? When those people can put a bad label on it.
Well, I mean, like, I don't want to be too judgmental.
Oh, yeah, for
of
sure.
People, because they may misunderstand like what Christianity is about.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of them are like, it's just a family thing, You just kind of are it. And
They don't
it's
take it
just-
super
Yeah,
serious.
it's just
Yeah.
expected of you,
Yeah.
but they don't exactly want it. They just
Yeah.
kind of have it forced upon them.
Yeah, so those listening, don't take this as like a way to discount people or discredit them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a way of us talking. Maybe you guys can take some points on how to maybe improve in these areas, or maybe just
Yeah.
taking the
We're
words.
just talking about it.
Yeah. But on with your stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like just labeling yourself as a Jesus follower kind of emphasizes a relationship over a religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. God does call us to have a relationship with Him.
Exactly. So, I mean, in a way, it's easier to label yourself as a Christian because there's so many people in the U.S., label themselves as a Christian.
Yeah, the
It's
majority.
easier, but it's not always better.
It's so sad because I love the word Christian.
Yeah.
The origin of the word is little Christ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was originally used as an insult.
Yeah.
And then the original, Christians were like, oh, you're calling us little Christ? Thanks, that's a compliment.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We aspire to be like Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, the term Christian was first used in Antioch,
Yep.
Acts 11:26, around 42 to 44 AD.
Imagine making notes for this.
Yeah, he's just winging it.
And it was initially a nickname given by outsiders, possibly as a derogatory label meaning little Christ or followers of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Us Christians,
Yeah, I love that word. I'm not going to stop using it. But I see the Jesus follower thing too.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I feel like calling yourself a Christian also isn't bad. Like,
yeah.
us three are Christians.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a bad thing to call yourself a Christian, but at the same time, thinking about what it means to be a Christian is really important
Mm-hmm.
because we're not just Christians, we're not just following a religion, we're following Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Christ has
Yeah.
to be focus of Christian.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean, I
having
think
that
we-
relationship that you said.
Yeah, I think we lose the meaning of what it means
Yeah.
to be a Christian a lot of times.
Mhm.
We need to focus more on, we just need to define what it means to be a Christian,
Yeah.
When people come to church, we need to be clear with them, it's not easy.
Yeah,
We're here to follow Jesus.
I hear a lot of stuff about Christian morals and Christian values, but they usually have nothing to do with
Exactly.
Christ or
Yeah.
anything like that.
And they can take the Bible out of context.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doesn't seem like it's very Christian then. There's no Christ in it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just Ian.
Yeah.
That's just Ian. That's my nephew.
Yeah, we don't
Shout out
we
Ian.
don't want to listen to him.
Nah,
No,
he's
no.
probably listening to this.
Well, too bad, Ian.
Shout out Ian, man. Ian Parsons. Alright, you.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this then, and I want you to be completely honest
Mhm.
and actually really take a second to think about it. So are you following a religion or a person?
I would say I'm following the person. Nobody can ever be perfect. Nobody can ever do it 100%. There will be times where I don't act as Christ follower-y as people want me to or as I should be. But like everything, you can't do it absolutely perfectly. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to not be perfect. And so, yeah, I try the best that I can do and to follow Christ in what he says and to be like him. But also to... Dang, I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. Yeah, I think I follow the person because I really to me, when you say follow the religion, it to me seems more like following the people who follow that religion, and I really tend to not agree with a lot of people like that, and a lot of the time I'll do something to be like, well, would Jesus agree with this? I wouldn't really be like, would Christians agree with this? And a lot of my mindset is focused around Jesus as opposed to the average Christian.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty easy to get sucked into following the religion. It's like you said, following the person who's, on stage preaching.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
easy to just follow that person.
Yeah, we follow Jesus, not a pastor.
Right. And it's easy for the average person to just walk into church once a week and follow what that person says.
Yep.
And what that person says is usually good.
Yeah.
Usually.
If
yeah.
they're a pastor,
Usually.
yeah.
Yeah.
If God is speaking through them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely don't just go into church and be like, no, I'm just not going to listen to anything you say. Listen to what they have to say. Most of the time, it's going to be pretty good
Mm-hmm.
if they're a good pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a pretty great pastor here at Northgate. No bias.
Suck up.
He is my father, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, one time my dad was talking to me, and even he was like, "Yeah, don't follow me, follow Christ.
Yeah.
Don't put like pastors and stuff, even leaders of the church, on like a pedestal. The only thing that should be on the pedestal is Christ and Christ alone, and still value those teachings and stuff. And sometimes Christ can be working through pastors, and they can be working through your Sunday morning church.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they can also be working if you go out to coffee with someone. And so I think it's important to have the right person on top.
Yeah.
But what about you? Would you say, turn the question back on you?
I feel like yes, that I do kind of. That wasn't either or. I feel like I do follow the religion, or not the religion. Sorry, the person.
Person of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to kind of. This is a hard question. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made it, so.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You get to taste your own medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Distracting too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I do follow the person now, but I mean I didn't always.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a kid, you know.
Yeah.
You do what you're told, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my parents are Christian, you know. They raised me to be Christian,
Mhm.
so that's all I knew, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did follow the religion then, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Also, like when you're a kid, there's a certain amount of innocence there.
Sure.
That like, for me, I'm only like 15. You guys are older than me, and so I kind of like more recently started to take it serious, so to speak,
Yeah.
and start following more of Christ in what He says, and not just falling into the routine.
Mhm.
Okay, I go to church on Sunday. Okay, I go to Bible study. Okay, Wednesday rolls around, time for youth group, go have fun with my friends, and don't really pay attention to the sermon
Mhm.
or the speaker or whatever. And I feel like more recently I've kind of, like I think I said it on the last episode of the podcast, how I started taking it seriously.
Mhm.
And, well, now for me, publicly, because I just got baptized.
Mhm.
And like I said on that Sunday, if you weren't there, it's a public declaration of my faith in my following of Christ, and not just the word of Christian.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like that's part of being a Jesus follower is like it's not just believing it,
Mhm.
you know.
It's living it.
It's living it. It's publicly declaring, "Hey, I believe in this,
Mhm.
and I'm doing this every day."
Yeah, and God calls us to be set apart.
Yeah, this is something I'm living every day. Some days, you know, may not live it the best. Some days, I
Yeah,
may
exactly.
not-
Like I
may
said in
not-
the beginning, nobody's perfect.
Right. And some days I may not even. It's sad, but some days I may not even think about God at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know. 'cause
Happens
it's
to the
just-
best of us.
But yeah.
Doesn't though. doesn't happen to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, following himself, he didn't think about himself the entire day. He's just not selfish.
Exactly. He's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. You have anything more on your segment?
No.
All right. I'm up then. So
Are you down or are you up?
I am sideways.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah. So not but
East, south.
no, north.
Oh. Pole.
Alaska.
That's not the North Pole. That is simply not the North Pole.
Same thing. All right. So yeah, so my segment is again on that same theme, but something that we used in a couple of our Bible studies is the term fake Christian. Now, like we said, it's not to disgrade anybody. I don't think that's a word.
It's not.
Yeah.
Degraded.
Not to degrade anybody,
Or
not to
discredit.
discount anyone, not to discredit. It's just us talking on how we feel in maybe the word fake Christian, you guys don't like that, but that's what I'm going to use for this. And yeah, so to me, being a fake Christian is just like saying that you're a Christian and you believe in God, but not actually doing and living the things that God commands us to do, and just living in the way of the world, and just being a regular person, which I'll say isn't a bad thing to be a regular person. But God calls us to be set apart and to follow the ways of, and to not follow the ways of the world. And so what do you guys think the ways of the world impacts us in being that like Christ follower or just Christian?
Well, we talked about in youth group lots of times
Mhm.
how, our surroundings affect us.
Yeah.
How social media, TV is a big one.
Yeah.
Our friends, just our culture in general.
Yeah, our culture is very the way of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays.
Adults in our lives, like teachers,
The way that you've been taught things.
coworkers, stuff like that. It's like
Anything,
it's
really.
it's very in your face.
Yeah.
You can't really escape
Yeah.
seeing this stuff.
Yeah. And so,
there's certain things you can do to avoid it, but wherever you go,
mhm.
you're gonna see the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We live in it.
Unfortunately, yeah, exactly. So
We just have
Unless you
to.
live on the moon. Then.
Well, yeah. If there's anybody watching from the moon, just ignore this little part
yeah,
because you obviously don't follow the way of the world because you follow the way of the moon.
unless you're gonna hop on Elon Musk's spaceship and go to Mars.
Yeah. Don't follow the way of Mars, please. It's way worse.
Or Elon Musk, actually.
Yeah. No Mars, no moon, no Elon Musk.
Okay. Three rules of this podcast, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
Nick, did you have anything?
Wait.
What?
The three M's.
What?
Mars, Moon, Musk.
Mars, moon, and Musk.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be the title of this episode.
Mars, Moon, that was loud.
Yeah, that was loud.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Windows open because it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to close it?
No.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. We can edit that out.
Yeah, that's why.
Or we just leave it in because it's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Nick, did you have anything?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about like the way we are as humans is we learn from other people, and that's just how we're designed to be. Like, that's how we've survived for however long we've survived.
Like, traditionally people will go to school.
Yep.
And who's teaching you in school?
Even before school, babies learn to talk by watching other people talk.
Yeah, and their parents teach them how to
Yeah.
like act and live.
That, there's nothing blue. I was going to say that's the color blue, but there's nothing blue. That's yellow. And babies learn that. You guys can't see it, but that, I'm pointing.
There's a yellow chair over
Yeah, it's a
there.
yellow chair.
You can also just point at your own hair and say that's pink.
I can't see that though.
Yeah, Nick has pink hair, by the way.
For all
For
audio.
for audio listeners.
Yeah, but babies will see that, kids will see that and be like, okay, now I know that that is yellow. I learned. I watched somebody else do that. If you watch somebody else do something and say that was a good thing that I did, if you're young, if you're young and impressionable, you're gonna end up doing the same thing. And even as we get older, we're susceptible to that. And so we can very easily accept the ways of the world without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And
That's one of the biggest things,
yeah,
is that being in accordance with the way of the world, sometimes you don't even realize it.
yeah,
You could just be doing your normal everyday routine, and something could just be off in the, and you couldn't even know it unless you like know every single thing in the Bible. And then, but if you do your research and stuff and you find out certain things, you can help those things.
generally it's not going to be like a huge thing if you like.
Yeah,
Usually
exactly.
you're going to know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you can just go about it and not even notice that you're doing it. And like, yeah, and just trying to be aware of that, reading the Bible, being in God's presence, I think can help with that. Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, pray, read the Bible.
Nah, I said that one actually. So you're mad?
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, but so in Colossians 3, spoilers for if you go to Northgate Bible Study, Youth Effort Church, for next time. But in Colossians 3, Paul talks about what a Christian, or as we kind of called it, Christ follower, following Jesus, he kind of makes a list of what he thinks that should look like. It's kind of like traits, and he says like no sexual immorality, no impurity, no lust, no evil desires, and some more things that we can get to later. But oh yeah, and no greed. But nobody can follow these things perfectly. Like, do you guys follow those things perfectly?
Yeah, dude, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm taking that as a
Sarcasm.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while you can get greedy. You can have evil desires every once in a while.
Money.
Yeah. So nobody's perfect. But if we try our best and do those things, well, if we try our best to do those things and to better ourselves with Christ and to build that relationship, kind of how you were talking about, Tommy, then I think that's some steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
In the direction of Christ.
Yeah. Not that we're ever going to reach that. We're simply
Well, yeah.
not Jesus enough for that.
We're not Jesus enough for that. Yeah.
But Jesus died for that, so
Yeah.
too bad. Do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And he also lists stuff like anger, rage, malice, slander, filthy language from your lips. And again, nobody can follow those perfectly, but Paul is a master list maker. How we talk about it on Sunday morning by Sunday school is how one of our leaders there, Rich, we've been going on Philippians and a couple of Paul's letters, and he says that Paul is the master list maker, and it is true. Paul loves his lists, and you can find many more of these lists that I've found and stuff in Colossians 3 of how Paul thinks that we should be a Christ follower, and educating yourselves on those things can be good, and some of them can even be obvious. Like in Sunday school, we've listed such things as like being kind, being thankful for God. Like all those things can lead to a better relationship with Him. And yeah, it's just the whole point is that you're trying to follow the way of Jesus, and you're trying to do it the best that you can. And to me, the best that you can is as much as you can possibly do. And the best that you can, I think, is, I wouldn't say like good enough, because I don't know if there is like a necessarily good enough. What would you guys say about that? Like, what would you think is a good enough, or does that not exist?
Jesus is the good enough.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna reach that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think we have to because Jesus already did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at.
yeah, I figured, but I stole it from you.
Yeah. I do not have a way with words.
So, I kind of think that, I don't necessarily think that there is a good enough or
Yeah.
a good or perfect, but honestly, as long as you're focused on it,
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about God and what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right,
And making that effort to follow Christ.
the effort, the focus, the intention,
Mhm.
growth.
Mhm.
You see growth consistently, stuff like that. If you're doing that stuff, then yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what.
As close to a good enough as you can
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I like all the points that you make about like seeking out God
Mhm.
and stuff. And so,
Intentionality and focus.
yeah. And sometimes, like, again, in our Sunday school, Rich has talked about, specifically this Sunday, about how if you do something, we were in Philippians, and Paul said, because the Philippian church was giving Paul money and stuff, and supporting Paul throughout, like, all of his journeys and his travels. And Paul wrote them back and said, "You've given me all these gifts and these things, which I did not purposely seek out," is a close wording of it. And he said that the Lord in the Lord's riches will bless them and stuff. And I feel like that can kind of tie into this, where it's not just seeking the reward of doing these things to try to just, if I get to go to heaven, I'll do these things. Like, it's not just about these goals and these blessings that you want to receive. It's about the intentionality of you actually doing the things in the purpose of seeking out a relationship with Christ and to really know Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. And yeah, just to me, to strive to be like Jesus is a great way to act like a Jesus follower, because you're following him, try to be like him. And
Yeah.
I feel like God does call us to do that.
Pretty sure he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the one who cares for others and serves the Lord
Yeah.
with everything that they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's my segment wrapped up.
Yep.
Nick,
I have
what do you
no
got
notes for my
us?
segment. I'm just kind of
Winging it?
doing whatever. Yeah, I had some thoughts about this, but my main one is that what like exactly divides a fake Christian and a real Christian? Like, I don't think there's really like a divide. Oh, on this side,
Yeah,
you're,
there's no solid line.
Yeah, on this side you're not a Christian. On this side you are for sure a Christian. It's a spectrum, I'll say. A lot of things are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, I think one of the biggest things is, why are you a Christian? Is it to appear Christian? I think you fall more towards the fake Christian side. If you're just saying, oh, people look at me, they see I'm Christian, my parents see I'm Christian, they trust me more, I'm obeying them, then I feel like if you're just doing it because of the people around you, I really don't see that as following Jesus.
Yeah, because you're just following the people around you.
Yeah, you're just doing what they want you to do, which most of us are going to tend to do that either way.
Yeah,
It's
nobody's
just part of
perfect.
our human nature. That's why I say it's a spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
but
You're on the spectrum.
we're all on the spectrum, Joel. We're in a podcast named 3 Idiots and a Bible.
Yeah, we are
We're
idiots.
we're all on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think on the other side of that is, do you read the Bible every day? because of Jesus, because you want to hear what God has to say, because you want to know how to be more like Jesus, or you just want to have a closer relationship with him. I think you then fall way more towards the actual Christian side of it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a lot of what being a Christian is a relationship with Jesus.
Kind of like what Tommy said about the seeking and intentionality of it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. What are some things you guys think are like traits that make you less or more Christian? Will make you less or more of a person, actually.
Yeah, of a Christ follower.
Yeah, of a real Jesus relationship seeking person.
Yeah, I feel like there is like not tiers to it, but I feel like there can be like a little bit of some levels to it.
Yeah.
Because like at not necessarily the bottom level, because that sounds mean and degrading, but if you understand what I'm saying, the bottom level of Christianity would be just that saying I'm a Christian and starting to get into it and not really caring,
Yeah.
and you're just saying you're a Christian.
I don't know, because those people, it's not always that they just are, that they're just saying this. They may not even know they have to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They may just think that, oh, I just believe and I'm good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's not your fault either.
It's not.
I mean,
always.
Well, not always.
It
In the
could
terms
be.
of what you were saying,
I'm
if they
just
didn't
saying-
know.
yeah.
Like, there's always context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always context to your situation and what you know and your former education about
Yeah.
God and stuff.
And
And like you can just be starting to get into it and you can see stuff and you want to be like that, but you just don't know how
yeah.
yet, and that's perfectly fine.
There is no shame to, oh, you're over on this side, you're a terrible Christian, we don't like you.
Yeah, no,
And-
only terrible Christians actually do that.
That's self-contradicting, but whatever. But yeah, like there's always reasons for what we do, but we still ultimately hold responsibility for it.
Hmm.
And the consequences of not having, I don't know where exactly Jesus sees the line at, but I think at some point you would not be getting all of the rewards in heaven that some of the other people would get.
Yeah, I agree. And like, yeah, there's certain aspects to it, like your first question, like the traits and stuff, like
Yeah.
reading the Bible, going to church, praying a lot, praying for other people,
Yes.
doing these things that may seem so ordinary, like going to church every Sunday, like just reading your Bible.
Yeah.
They may seem so ordinary and just like everybody does it, and you can just do it just to do it, but there's a certain point where you have to do it to strengthen that relationship with Christ and to do it with the intention, kind of like what you were saying again.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, but you kind of said it.
Haha.
Like you can do all these things, but it doesn't matter if you don't like believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's also
Yes.
another aspect of it.
Because you kind of have to have that intentionality of strengthening your relationship or helping to strengthen the relationship with someone else. Otherwise, those actions are meaningless.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I agree. And yeah, just doing those things and having the belief behind it that you will strengthen your relationship with God and wanting to. That's also one of the things that we've kind of already touched on a lot, but just again, just wanting to and having that fire for God and just really wanting to learn and wanting to do all these things is good. And to do all these things, first and foremost, to actually read His Word is really important to me, at least. Because what I do is, I may have said this last episode, but my quiet times is right before I go to sleep. I will usually open the Word, read it, take notes on it, and, so to speak, let it marinate. It's another thing that we talk about this Sunday morning is you don't just...
Marinate?
Okay, that was me. But you don't just read a chapter, put it down, and move on with your day.
Yeah.
You read it, you let it sit within you, you let God speak through the text, and you have to have that mindset for it. And that's why I like to pray before I read the Bible, is to say, hey, God, help me through this. Let me see what you want me to see in this, and to really learn something. And so, yeah, I do that, then I read it, I kind of let it marinate a little bit, I pray afterwards and stuff. And then, yeah, I'm on 224 of those now, straight, which is cool. But, yeah, just reading the Bible with purpose and talking to God through it and seeing what He wants with your life and God's plan.
It reminds me of the passage where I think it was Jesus who said, "This you must be like a tree where Scripture is like a river flowing next to you, where it's just constantly like in your mind.
Yeah, I've heard about that passage.
Like you're reading it daily. You never go a day without thinking about it or reading it or having it affect you in some way. And I think that's a really good thing you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, it's not like everybody has to read the Bible so many times a day. It's like,
otherwise you're not a real Christian and God hates you.
yeah, like kind of how I said before, but one of the people that I know doesn't go to church, which is like, all in all, it would definitely help them, and I think it would be beneficial if they went to church. Like if somebody doesn't read the Bible, if they read the Bible. But like if you're not doing it every single day super consistently at 9 o'clock every day, that's fine. Like a lot of people don't, and it's kind of personal to you on how you do it and how God can speak in your life and how He wants you to do it. He might want you to read 8 times a day. It's all in God's plan.
Yeah. He might want you to just think about it that day or
Yeah.
for a week straight and just really stay on one topic
Mm-hmm.
and figure something very important out.
Yeah, like He can put topics on our minds and our hearts. I'm sure it's probably happened to all of us, where He's put a topic onto our heart and we just kind of sit and let that topic marinate in us. And
Why are you like this, Joel?
because it's fun. And so,
Well, and that's another thing, like, you were talking about, like, you just thinking about something, every day.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's ways to be, like, make sure you are actually thinking about God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That
Um,
intentionality.
Yeah, and I mean, I fasted for a while, like once a week or something like that. And like every time I was hungry or something, it would make me think of God because I trained my brain to think that way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime.
That's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
Pavlov.
What?
Excuse me?
Did you not hear about it in your psychology class?
What'd you
It's
say?
the Pavlov.
Oh, yeah.
Pavlov's response, yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Essentially, they like train certain we do this to animals mostly, but it happens in humans. But essentially, you give a rat like a piece of food, and you like press a bell at the same time, and it triggers and they tend to associate those things. And then eventually,
yeah.
if you ring the bell or whatever noise you do, they will automatically start to salivate and look for expect the food.
Mm-hmm.
And that just those two things go together in their mind.
Yeah, like I've kind of done that with me. When it's time for me to go to bed, instantly in my mind, it comes up,
Yep.
I gotta read the Bible, I gotta pray, I gotta do something.
Well, and that's kind of like the same thing, like with my cat.
Yeah.
Like I have a cup of food and I dump it in his dish. It makes a clinking sound or whatever. and he comes running down the hall.
There you are.
So that response is.
We can use that to our advantage.
Yeah. Highly recommend. Yeah. If you want to read the Bible every day, what's really important for it is setting a time, I think. Because, like,
Depends on the person, but yeah.
yeah, obviously it depends on the person. For me, I like to do it at night before I go to sleep.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. For some people, it's just, because
Yeah, I completely understand.
I want to be a firefighter, and their schedule is like,
Yeah.
it depends, but it's like 24 hours on, like 2 days off, 24 hours on, 2 days off, sometimes
Yeah, exactly.
2 days on, 4 days off,
Mhm.
So you don't always get that chance to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so.
But for the people that can
Oh, I
and
know.
want to, like for me,
Yeah.
like in our old youth pastor James, he would have his routine every morning. He would make his coffee. He'd
Cold plunge, which freaking
loser.
sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
why he did that.
he would have his routine, and like I have my routine. I got mine mostly from him, and I know some people have a different routine. Like some people who read the Bible in a year and are on those plans. Their routine will be, okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna read the chapter, I'm gonna read the second part of that I'm supposed to do that day at night. Or they do it on their lunch break. And they'll set these things and these habits that are really good, because humans are creatures of habit. And that's one thing that my dad says a lot, and that I think is very true. Because like you said, with the tricking your mind,
Yep.
with the noise and stuff, like it's a habit for me now. When I am starting to get ready to go to sleep, I instantly think, oh, I gotta do my quiet time.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. And you want to train your brain to want to do these things that can strengthen your relationship with God. And it doesn't have to be reading the Bible every day. It could be, send like a little 1-sentence prayer up to God. Sometimes it doesn't have to be much. Sometimes it can be like what you two were saying about thinking about it. And I think that it can all be good.
It could just be being quiet in your room and just trying to listen to God.
Trying to find God in the quietness is good. Do you have any habits that you have to put your mind on God? Well, like the fasting that you said.
I haven't done that in a while, to be honest. But
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually just during a time period.
Well, not always.
Well, yeah, not always.
A lot of people, like what I was doing was like a once a week kind of thing.
Mhm.
Did that for a while.
Yeah, like my dad fasts. I can't remember when, but he fasts for like a month. I think all the staff at our church does. They'll fast for a month until it might be Easter, it might be Christmas, I can't remember what it is, but they'll fast up until something, and that's what they do. That's a habit that they formed.
They just they don't eat any food for the whole month.
Well, no, I think it's like, it might be what you said, like the once a week for a month.
Oh.
I would assume it'd be something like you don't eat during the day and then you
Yeah.
eat at night. Because that's what happens for Ramadan.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of it, don't quote me on
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
but yeah, they'll do something along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nick, do you have any habits?
No, not a single one. I am an unhabitless person.
An unhabitless person?
Yes. I never have. Yes, I have habits.
Unhabitless. Habitless would mean no habits. Unhabitless would mean you have habits.
Okay, you should not be correcting him on his grammar.
No, I'm not trying to correct him. It's just funny.
I'm just saying, your grammar is the worst out of all.
It's not just his grammar, it's his spelling.
Yeah.
I know, it's just funny.
Okay, Mr. Barry.
Alright, what were you saying?
I don't really consciously think about a lot of my habits, but there are some things like when I eat food, I'm on my phone. That's just something that happens usually. Unless I'm out to eat somewhere. But if I'm at my house, I'm eating a bowl of cereal. I got my phone in one hand, spoon in the other.
Oh, yeah. Sick.
That's just a habit I have. And then I have a habit of sleeping in a certain really weird position, and I don't know where it came from. I will sleep like this every day, like a weird vampire. And
For audio listeners, he crossed his arms
and legs.
like Wakanda Forever, and he crossed his legs.
I look like a very stupid vampire. And I
Yeah,
sleep like that every single day. And
pink-haired
I
vampire.
don't know where it came from, but it's just a habit I have.
Yeah, do you have any habits for following Christ and stuff?
Going to church
Mm-hmm.
very consistently. Like I don't know when's the last time I missed a day of church.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Other than that, I think I'm just a very sporadic person in general.
Yeah.
Like, I mostly do stuff in short, intense bursts,
Mm-hmm.
not with a consistent. I hate schedules so much.
Yeah.
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 We just did a personality test before this. It said I was like 99% sporadic, and 1% I like schedules.
Yeah. I didn't do the personality test because I wasn't with them at this point, but I would say I'm probably more like straight down the middle. Sometimes I'll just be like, hey, I want to do this, and I'll just do it for a while, and then I'll just stop.
Yeah. We should do that after.
Yeah, I should. I'll probably do it after.
Because it's the 16 personalities test. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. It's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy, what was yours on the personality test?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then what would you say for yourself with the habits and or the schedule and sporadicness? Was it?
Yeah. I don't think that's exactly the word that you used. but-
Something I've been like trying to figure out is like how to work with my ADHD
Mhm.
because my school schedule is like pretty much the same every week, and with my ADHD and everything, I get bored like really easily
Mm-hmm.
when I have the same schedule every week.
Yeah,
So
I can
it's like
understand
I need to change it, otherwise I get bored and then I don't do it. So I'd say well I need change and flexibility, if that makes sense in my
Yeah,
schedule.
that makes sense.
So
Yeah. For me, yeah, like I said, straight down the line, I do that sometimes if it's like for school. If it's a class that I don't like, I'll be like, get me out of this class after a while. But that's probably just
Yeah.
normalcy. But like for my quiet times, I have that schedule. It's not a specific time. Sometimes it be at 12, sometimes it can be at like 9. It always just depends on the day.
well, I think that
Yeah. That wraps it up.
yeah.
Do we want to talk about new location?
They see the new location.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, there's a meaning to the wall. It's important.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be
Yeah.
good to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because people can ask questions.
So yeah, you got that.
Okay. Yeah, so once we finally get the YouTube up and you can actually see where we are, the last episode we were just in Nick's room in a cramped bunk bed.
It was very scuffed.
Yeah, and now we've found a good place. Might be permanent, might not be. We'll see. In our coffee shop in our church, and there's an upstairs to the coffee shop. It's called the 360 building because there's windows like on all sides, so you can see everywhere throughout the neighborhood, and you can pray for the neighborhood. And up here, if you're watching live, you can see a wall behind us. This is kind of our prayer room. And if you know anything about like ancient stuff, this is like the Wailing Wall and how people would stuff prayer requests into walls. My dad has been there. There's a picture down here, you guys can't see it, but Nick's got us. You can't, yeah. That's my dad for visual
There you go.
watcher. At the Wailing Wall, putting a prayer request in there, and he really had a vision for this place. and he really wanted that in here. And we can't just like carve out a piece of the wall and ship it here. And so he went and he made it. And it's really impressive. And there's a lot of detail and stuff. It's accurate too. He picked out the exact part of the wall that he was at, and he made it. And so now you might be able to see a couple papers in there, but people can come up here now and you can pray in the prayer room. There's a bunch of chairs like these and stuff and books next to windows. You can pray for the neighborhood, you can pray for whatever, and you can put a prayer request into the wall. And I know a lot of people that means a lot, like your brother, Isaac, who comes up here every Sunday and puts a prayer request in the wall because that's where he feels closest to God. And I feel like that's pretty important, and for us to be sharing the word up here with a cool looking wall in the background. I feel like it's cool.
Yeah.
And so
At this location, we might have to fix the light, like right
Yeah.
here and on that side.
we're still working it out.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, and it probably won't be.
Yeah.
And so yeah, deal with it.
Get good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Also ignore the echo, whatever there is, or the outside car sounds, or whatever you
Yeah.
hear.
All right. I'm Tommy,
I'm Joel.
I'm Nick.
and this has been
3 Idiots in a Bible Podcast. See ya next episode.